Oh, and I didn't. Oops. Oh, I think that worked, so we should be good to go.
All right. Thank you everyone for being here tonight. This is the Equal Rights Commission. Today's date is December 8th, 2022, and the time is 5:40. So first we're going to do a roll call. Can we just say your name, your first and last name?
My name is Stephanie Guzman.
Jim Hutchison.
John Shelton.
Christina Artur.
Okay, and Terry Ying. Can I get approval of the agenda? A motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Perfect. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All not in favor? Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All not in favor, please say nay. Okay, that stands approved. So we go to agenda item E, regular business, consideration with possible action to discuss finalizing the equal housing report. Has everyone had a chance to review the report?
I reviewed.
Joe sent it already, or no?
Well, we've got a memorandum, but I don't think we have the report yet.
I don't think so.
So the memorandum did a good job of bringing us up to speed up to the point of that report. I think there's going to be a report submitted in January.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
what, you want to talk through the process?
Sure, and I think you're still working on a draft, right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, so, and so the process, I guess, is what, I guess we're here to talk about and kind of go through, but, John and Tara's done some work on getting a draft and has worked with the city staff and the mayor's office to kind of work on, finalizing the report. But what we plan on doing is sending a draft to the commissioners. I'll email it to everyone for you guys to review, and then send me back your feedback and comments. And then from there, I can compile it and get kind of a final draft that will then, this is what we're here to talk about then, is we can either have a meeting where we would approve it, we go through it and the commission would approve it and maybe talk through some certain parts, or you could have more of like a public, I guess, release of it as well. So that's kind of up for you guys to talk about.
Yeah, so the reason you don't have a draft yet is because we have to avoid this being a public record and we can't just like send this around an email because it's a walking quorum thing, right?
Yep, that's correct, yeah.
Yeah, so what Tara and I have been doing is compiling everything based on the hearings, right? I think we talked about that last time. But then getting sign off from all the different groups that we've cited who spoke at our hearings. And then we conferred with the mayor's office to get feedback, and then city staff. So we just did that this week. That's why we don't have a draft yet. And so we're like really close to having something we can send around to everybody, but we have to respond to some of the feedback from city staff, because we wanted to have this in a place where if it does end up being an open records request, it's in a place where it's, we're not going to have anything that like is going to be like publicly embarrassing for any of the groups who reported or any of the city staff, that kind of thing. So we can still make changes, but the reason that we're doing it that way is so that like what Joe's going to do is individually send this to each commissioner, and then the commissioner can provide feedback, and then Tara and I can make changes based on that feedback and avoid the walking forum. Right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My question is that the report includes recommendations, so actionable
Yep.
recommendations.
And that'll be for the commissioners to review.
To
and-
review, okay.
Yep, and if your thoughts on the recommendations, not just how it's worded, but if you think the recommendations are, if you agree with them or not. But then, when we come to the public meeting, that's when you would pass it officially.
Yeah, so I literally just need like an hour to like respond to the last group of changes. We met this week and I just haven't had a chance yet. So this is like imminent. This is going to happen imminently.
Yeah, and I just want to say that John has been single-handedly writing this report, and it's like 16.
Thank you.
Has it
You wanna
extended?
put it all in? Maybe people don't like it. I'm your chair. I got nothing to do with it.
It's a good thing, I mean.
Boy, it must
I
be
just
pretty
he
good.
put in a lot of work. He put in a lot of hard work to this, so yeah, I'm
Yeah.
excited for you guys to view that. But it's basically, the feedback that we got from the community and the organizations we spoke with. And then we put that together with some history and then some of the recommendations, which I think that we've kind of discussed some of the recommendations already. So I think some of you are familiar with it. So there's nothing that's going to be a surprise or shock to you guys, I don't think.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're hoping to host something for Martin Luther King Day, but it just depends. I don't know if that's still gonna be.
Yeah, we wanted to like run that by everybody. I mean, we were just kind of talking about it, and there may be some, I don't know if we're able to do this on a holiday exactly, but when Tara and I were talking about this with Mayor's office, we thought trying to do this on King Day could be like a really good way to like celebrate King Day, but also like connect what we're doing to the, history for racial equity in this country. So I think that's the first thing we wanted to like make sure people were good with is like as a concept, and then figure out like, do we need to kind of meet to talk about, like a draft report? Although I think at that point it would be made public. So the risk we run there is like, I think the opportunity is like if we can release this, and then essentially like with everybody being okay with it, right? Like we would have a public meeting where everybody would vote on it, but we would all kind of know in advance that we were willing to support it. So then we could get media there, maybe even the mayor, and make it sort of a big, public kind of narrative before it even goes to city council.
And then city council has to endorse it, or?
Yeah, city council then review it and approve or not approve the recommendations, or, that'd be up to the council to decide.
But it would still be a public document, even if they don't approve it, right?
Yep, and I think our mission to have the media there is to kind of publicize the importance and the urgency of the housing crisis. So, we're trying to get them to spark enough momentum that city council like has some type of, I don't want to say fear, but
Pressure.
Pressure. Thank you.
Yeah.
Perfect. Exactly.
And are we going to be inviting the people that, like, for example, I saw that really, the big list for the memorandum. I think it would be a nice way to also, like, solidify that relationship. Like, look, we worked together to build this one report, even though he wrote it, it's all of us that are a part of it. And I think it would add on to the pressure if you have a bunch of people from these organizations in front of city council. You know what I mean? Like, I think it would be I do agree that would be a great day to celebrate something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so too. Now we're going to be inviting the community, and then the community leaders and organizations we spoke to. But I don't know if we're going to directly invite
Sure.
the council to be there. I think they'll probably hear about it, but that's not my motive,
Yeah.
right? For that, at least. I don't know, John. What's your take
Yeah,
on
I
that?
agree. And I mean, I think personally, like long-term, even just, structuring conversations about housing, but also like, I would like to see people who want to, say, run for city council, like run on some of the recommendations,
Yes.
So, this I think could be something that could kind of structure political conversations in this city for like the next few years.
Yeah. So we're going to really rely on our partners, like the commissioners here, to really reach out to your network and ask people to join in and participate. So with that being said, Joe, do we need to have a motion or anything to set the dates or anything like that?
I don't think you need to do that, no.
Okay.
Doesn't have to be a motion to set the dates. I guess, and one thing for my clarification is, does the committee or the commission want to, I guess, present it on Martin Luther King Jr. Day? Or do they want to have the meeting the week before, like a public meeting to approve it, and then have like a public release on Martin Luther King Jr. Day?
Well, yeah, what's the date of Martin Luther King?
It's January 16th, it's early this year.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Is it possible to have a meeting immediately before, since we've all would have gone through it
Mhm.
individually, come through and approve it, maybe in front of the cameras, and then publish it? Is that doable, or is that something that we may not want to do for whatever reason?
I mean, it would be somewhat difficult to do, but you could do that. Like, I mean, it could, I'm assuming you'd want to have the meeting with the public on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, like, not here, right? I don't know, it's up to the commission. But like, that's one thing you could do, is you could just hold a meeting like this here, or maybe in the council chambers, and that could be your event, or you could be somewhere in the community and do it as well. It would just, to approve the report on the same day, you would just have to go through the process that we're going through right now.
So if I hear you correctly, we will need to approve before. The thing with the Martin Luther King Day is that a lot of people, honor that day, and there's not going to be people working, going, or even public offices open. So we might risk, not having a great attendance, or, so I think that doing it previously and mentioning that as we approach this date, this report has a special significance. But that the day itself, I think that might be, I don't know. What do you guys think? I know that it's symbolic, but a lot of public offices are closed, and people are, doing all different, what I mean? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of feel like a lot of people might not have other competing things that day, actually. It could be an opportunity, because, I don't know about the rest of you, but I have stuff scheduled all the time, right? Unless I'm there speaking at it, this kind of thing that I would block off on my calendar. But if it's on a holiday, which, King Day is an important holiday, but I don't feel like people are all doing, right? It's not like Thanksgiving where everybody's doing something with their family. We could actually have the opportunity to really kind of capture the news cycle a little bit.
Were you thinking here or somewhere else?
I don't think we really discussed that yet.
Oh, okay.
But I think it would be where, we think that majority of the public would feel safe and comfortable there, so.
But I don't know what other people think about doing it on King Day. Christina brings up a really good point.
I know for us, King's Day here in America is where we started hearing about it. Me, I'm American and Mexican American citizen. My Hispanic relatives from Mexico, they might not know about it or celebrate it as much, but I feel like if a lot of places are closed and there's not much to do that day, it would be a good day then, so that they don't have to cancel anything or not go to work, or if they're going to do it after work. I think it would be a good day because we usually don't know about it. It's a good day to unite as community on Martin Luther King because of the significance. I do agree with that. I feel like I don't know, but the name, the fact that it's MLK Day, it's also significant enough that it might heighten, it might make it more, I don't know, there would be more, I don't know how the word I'm thinking of in Spanish, but it makes it less subtle and more punch. It's got more punch, you know what I mean? I don't know, that's what I think. And I think a report like this should have more punch than just a regular day. I do think it carries so much weight. We're talking about something that, today I went to Casa Alba and I saw 3 different families waiting in line, and that was the one topic. And there was tears, and there was, and I feel the severity of it, that I don't know what other day can there be where I understand, so I don't know, I'm trying to think, it is a big deal. It's not just some whatever report, it's a huge report. I don't know I think that it's so important that a day has to equal that, and that's the only one that comes to my mind, other than New Year's. You know what I mean?
We may want to publicize things in the report beforehand, and if that's the case, we may want to approve it beforehand, so it's done. So then bullets can be taken off from the press to emphasize what's going to happen on Monday of Martin Luther King Day. You know what I'm saying? So then it wouldn't just be an unknown, well, this report's coming, there's actually the report and the summary of it or whatever, and then it's presented.
I think the only risk of that is, you know, like, if the media gets a hold of it earlier and it's public, there might be a story about that instead of a story about the narrative that we want to tell. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you know, what we could do is we could have, I mean, again, like, I think if everybody's giving Joe individual feedback and it looks like everybody's more or less kind of on board, right? There may be some things we have to tweak and they're all gonna vote for it. You know, I think we would all probably wanna think about, you know, who's gonna speak and maybe even having people kind of, like it would be a much more scripted version of like this meeting, right? Like, we're
Yeah.
not gonna kind of freeform it. You know, we'll figure out who are the 3 or 4 people gonna speak or whatever and exactly what they're gonna say, so we're not all saying the same things. But, you know, we could write a press release or even send out the report. You can just send it out with an embargo on it, right? So let's say that we were doing the report at like, we were gonna do the event at like 3 o'clock, you could send it out to the press that morning, even if we haven't approved it as a draft, and say, this is embargoed, you can't write about this until, you know, the meeting or whatever.
It's a new one.
Yeah.
I like the embargo.
So, right, so then they would have the ability to, you know, they
Right.
see it in advance and kind of start writing some of the story.
Right.
So then, going back to the day, do we feel comfortable with MLK Day, or are we still kind of undecided about that?
You know, I mean, I agree with what you have expressed about the significance of the day, and it will give the document a special meaning. You know, my only concern is like, I mean, I know that there are different celebrations and WTC has a huge thing and other, you know, I mean, we're gonna have populations competing to where am I going for this day. But, you know, I mean,
Is there any way to reach out? I mean, we have one same common goal. I understand, like, should they not maybe even know, hey, we're gonna have a very important, sometimes, I mean, maybe that is a good place to also.
yeah, I mean, we could also partner and say, can we present it at your event?
Yeah.
And
You
then,
can do that.
and then, I mean, they might say, you know, that we are deviating from the celebration, but I mean, I think that if we say we're trying to do something that honors the figure of Martin Luther King Jr. and you know, and we think that we would like to, you know, communicate what we're doing
It's like
for
in
this
spirit,
very,
in spirit
yeah,
of
the
what he
spirit.
represents. I do think that sending that, like, he went to Washington DC,
Yeah.
and instead of writing a report, he gave a speech about it. It's
Yeah.
a general summary, but it was a report. I feel like this is similar to what he did, because what we're doing is now we're letting our government know, same way that he did it, except we're telling the city of Green Bay.
Hmm.
And I think that it's powerful if he says, we get proper people speaking,
Hmm.
and we partner with them, it shows, yes, this event is much bigger than just, you know,
Hello. Hey.
member.
Yeah, we could, I mean, I know that there's, NWTC has a pretty large celebration, very significant, because they have the essay that the students have to write. I mean, and there are a lot of young people involved. We also want to, like one of you say, encourage civic engagement,
Yes,
you
sir.
know, and say, well, this is who we are, and this is what we're trying to do, and these are our recommendations to the city, and we need your support, and, you know, if they allow us to
If
use
they
their
allow us,
venue,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's funny you guys bring that up. So I actually have a meeting with the Vice President, Sarah Lim. She's the Vice President of Diversity, the Diversity Department at NWTC. So if that's something that the commission thinks that would be helpful on that day, would be something that you guys want to do to, you know, attract people and collaborate with them instead of hosting our own event, then I can bring that up in discussion. But, you know, we have to have.
I'm in favor of that, and I'm in favor of her being introduced before she speaks, I would like to have her speak, her position proclaimed, because we're fighting for that position here in the city. So it would be nice to kind of combine, just bring it together a little bit. But number one, I would like to, should we vote on having it on Martin Luther King Day? I think we want to have it on that day, right? I think we should vote on it. I move that we have the presentation of the report on Martin Luther King Day.
I second.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should we have any contingency in place in case, maybe that, you have a conversation with MWTC and they're like, look, we really have this big thing that we're doing. We don't, I'm just hypothetical,
Yeah.
right? Like, we don't want to give you a platform for this because we don't know what's going to be in this report. And so we just can't do it, right?
Yeah.
We don't want to compete with that then, so.
I think that if we are gonna ask them, we should share the report at least with the person who makes the decision, so that she knows what what the report contains, so that she doesn't.
Not blindsided.
Yeah, and to say, you will have access to the report so that you know what the report contains. And then the spirit of the report is to push for these recommendations into what we think is an urgent need for communities in Green Bay, which is the housing issue. And can we use the platform, and then she can say yes or no. And then we have to think of a plan B.
Well, I think what we can do, or what I can do, is just look at the report quick and pull up, do it like a quick executive summary, just a non-formal one, John, nothing that we're gonna add to that, but just something that she can, digest a little bit easier. I'll show that to her tomorrow, and then we'll get her feedback on that. But she has been wanting to collaborate with the city, so.
In the fact that we're called Equal Rights
Yeah.
Commission, and there is Martin Luther King,
Yeah.
and then we're fighting for certain things and recommending certain things that, honor the spirit.
Yeah.
I think that, unless she thinks that we're gonna propose something
Yeah.
very radical politically, I think that,
And as far as contingency, do you think that it would be appropriate that maybe we also consider We All Rise and their installations for, the release of something like this?
Yeah, I think we're gonna go back to all of our partners. They already gave feedback on the.
Oh, but
the
like having the event there, if we can't release it
Oh,
at
at the
NWTC.
location? I don't know if their space is big enough.
Yeah, I think that's a conversation we should have. I get where you're going with that.
Yeah.
I don't know, I don't want to speak for anybody there, but based on the conversations we had, I don't know that they would necessarily feel comfortable
Okay.
taking on that connection, but they might. I don't know. But I just think we've got to be careful about
Yeah.
assuming that,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's valid. Okay, so then going back to John's question, should we choose a second date, Plan B, just in case? Or
Second date?
a date or location? Are we looking at location? Same day, but just different location?
Yeah.
That's what you were saying, John?
Location, yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have to vote on the date first.
True.
So
there's a motion on the
Yeah,
table,
There's a
right?
motion on the table, so.
Just as a point of order, I don't think we actually have to vote on it, and we certainly can, but I think it's sort of the discretion of the chair to, organize
Decide.
event. Is that right?
Well, what's gonna happen is this is gonna be a public meeting for the Equal Rights Commission, so essentially it's just the next date of the meeting will be the presentation of the report. What will happen is you would approve the report and then present on it, is what would occur.
So we're gonna do it at the same time?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so, right? I mean,
Okay.
I think it should be simple enough. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like when
Okay.
there's feedback being given to me, it's not necessarily saying like, you're not saying like you're approving it to me or whatever, it's whether you have changes or not. The actual approving is gonna be at the meeting,
Yeah.
just to be clear on that.
Okay, so, again, point of order, do we have to have a vote on the date, or would you like a vote on the date so it's on the record?
I don't think, it's really up to the commission. I mean, you don't absolutely necessarily need a vote to say, yeah, we're gonna present on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, but if you have it, that will be a report going to, the common council, and they'd be
Oh.
aware of it. I mean, that's, it'd be a little bit of like
Yeah, I
the marketing
don't,
of it.
yeah, I wasn't saying that we shouldn't vote, I was just saying like, you know, we don't necessarily have to vote on every logistical detail.
Well, right,
Yeah.
but this is an important one.
Yeah.
I agree.
And then we're continuing discussion, if we've already approved the date, then we know, and then we go on, you know, it's building.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, call
So
the
it's a
question.
motion and.
Well, so the question is in terms of a backup plan, if this collaboration with NWTC doesn't work out, do we want to still do it on King Day and find a different venue, or do we want to find a different day?
I think just a different venue, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the date is important enough to be by itself.
Yep.
And then the venue is second. I think it's very important. I like what you said about the date. It's important.
Okay, so just to summarize, so we're gonna stay with MLK Day, right? Tomorrow I'm gonna have a discussion with Sarah.
Is it tomorrow you're meeting?
Wow.
How
Yeah.
convenient.
Yeah, I know. What are the chances that you guys brought up NWTC? Well, I already met with her twice, but we try to meet
Uh-huh.
regularly. Okay, so I'm gonna meet with her, but then, do we have any ideas for the second location? Because let's try to get,
You know,
Contacts
I
with
think
them.
that, I don't wanna commit any venue, but I think if we approach the chancellor, I mean, we can probably have the university, although it's far from the city and people are reluctant. But
Yeah.
What capacity are we looking for, do we think?
you know, we have like the Phoenix rooms that we can host a lot of people, but
We don't even need the chancellor's permission, we could just get a room. Yeah. Well, it's true, I don't know.
I feel like Green Bay might be a little too far out there.
Yeah.
So I just don't want people to get lost.
yeah.
But at the same time, I don't know. What is everyone's take on that?
What is it here, downtown, or?
I mean, somebody who struggles with housing all the time is Casa Alba. I feel like we could reach out to Amanda Garcia and see, since she's
Yeah.
constantly having people go there about this issue.
But they don't have, it's not big enough to host if we gather.
Right, we already fill up the
Yeah.
conference
Right.
rooms.
Yeah.
Well, City Hall, I mean, we could do it here. This would be number 2.
Would it be open?
Yeah,
Sure, as
we
a
work
key.
at Martha.
Everybody's gonna be locked, everybody's gonna be locked outside.
Yeah, the doors will be open depending on what time. No, we don't observe it as a holiday. at the
You
city.
don't?
No, we do not, so we'll be here in the second.
Well, that's a
floor.
problem in and of itself.
Yeah, I know.
Mhm.
So I would feel comfortable just kind of, if other people are like, what's the word, designating our chair to find backup plan,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
If the NWTC doesn't work out, but
Mhm.
City Hall is a possibility.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, and then I will keep everyone in the loop, but I'm gonna ask right now, can I get some volunteers to help with the coordination of things? Because we're gonna need.
Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah,
Perfect.
yeah.
Thank you. That's all I needed, thank you.
Yeah, just tell us what you need. and-
Okay.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna actually put together just a logistical list of things that usually is done for an event, and
Mhm.
then I'm gonna send that out to you guys, give me your
Mhm.
feedback, and
And which,
let me
split it
know.
up.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yep,
Yep.
and we can all reach out to, you know, we can split up those organizations too, to invite them.
Perfect. I love that.
So
Okay.
so I don't think we actually voted, I think we're on agreement, but you want to have a official vote on
All
the
right.
motion and something?
Okay, can I get a motion to vote for the equal housing report, at our next meeting, to be on MLK Day, which is January 16th, 2023? Motion?
Yeah.
Oh, you wanna move?
Well, I think you already.
I
did that.
think
There's
already-
motions
yeah,
already, I
yeah,
think we
yeah.
just need to have a vote.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All not in favor? Say nay. Okay, that stands approved.
Good
Okay.
idea. Good
Yeah.
Alright.
And you included the discretion part, is that's in there? The discretion to find the location to the chair.
Yeah, I mean, we don't need to vote on that.
Okay.
We'll be okay. Yes, I think the action is that the presentation, the meeting and the presentation will be on Martin Luther King Jr.
Oh, yeah.
2023.
Cool.
All right. Okay, so if we're set with that, then we'll move on to agenda F. John, did you have anything else to add to that? Joe?
No,
Okay.
actually, let me just say quickly, I mean, since we're not gonna have a meeting to kind of coordinate everything, right? Like, be thinking about if you, like, whenever we do this, like, if you wanna speak and what you wanna say, and with all due respect, like, I appreciate you, you know, sort of mentioning my work in the report, but like, this needs to be something that we all
All of
own
us,
and that we
yeah.
all can speak about, and like, this is the Equal Rights Commission report, so like,
Mhm.
think about the, like, you know, if you wanna speak, and I don't think every single person has to necessarily, but like, if you want to speak, like, what's the specific part of the report you want to speak to, right? You know, so that we're all adding something.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm done, thank you.
No, that was great. That was good information. So, okay. And then there was something I was going to say in regards to this, but what was I going to say? Okay, that's okay. Anyways, we'll move on. Okay, agenda item F, which is informational, which the first piece to that is the Equal Rights Commission annual report. And Joe, I'm going to let you lead that.
Sure, and I'm sorry, I don't have the report in front of me because I can't get it on.
No,
That's okay.
that's okay.
But, so the Equal Rights Commission needs to provide a report to the mayor and the common council at least once a year. So it just summarizes some of the work that you all have done this year, and it's an update to the common council. So the first part was to talk about what you all are doing with the initiative with equal rights in housing, with all the meetings that you guys had, and then the partners that attended, and also partners that were willing to provide some input as well, but just couldn't attend. And then from there, what we just talked about was the draft report is being worked on right now, and then in January, it will be presented and finalized for the council to approve. Then there was a discussion, or an update in there about the Human Rights Campaign, with the scorecard, that the city score for 2022 was a score of 90, which is great. I mean, we've had a score of 28 in 2018, so I think we've come a long way, and still some room to improve. And then in there was the workplace culture specialist that the Equal Rights Commission recommended to hire and fill to the common council, and that was approved to be hired in the middle of next year in 2023. And then going forward, like I said, the housing report will be presented in January, and then this commission will continue to work on that. I don't think it's going to be done in January when the report's approved or presented. There's going to be more work to be done. And then from there, the Equal Rights Commission can meet with city staff and the community and kind of determine based on the ordinance what the next initiative the commission wants to take on.
Anyone have any questions? Thank you, Joe.
Well, I like the report. This is the draft report? This
Yep.
is, okay.
Mhm.
I like it.
Do you foresee any questions that common council is going to ask, or?
Not really. No.
Okay.
A simple question, a simple answer.
And part of the reason why it's informational is because it is an update to the council, and there's no action for them to take to approve or deny anything there.
Right, and I don't think there's anything in here that, yeah, so I think it's fine.
All right. John, any comments?
No, thanks for putting it together, appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for the
Thank you.
input from them.
Okay, so if there's no further comments on that, we're going to move on to the next item, which is the discussion on equal rights. I cannot read my handwriting.
The meeting days for 2023. I'm trying to get that on the calendar, and I think Thursday is probably one of the better days that works. I mean, I think from a perspective of other city commissions and committee meetings, but I don't know if that's a date that works best for you all. And the hope was to get, it's probably better to have monthly meetings on the calendar, because it's easier, I think, to cancel than to
Yeah.
schedule and coordinate that. So I don't know if there's like a second or a third, like Thursday of the month we just want to put on the books.
Yeah, I think we had a discussion. Mondays don't work out for me in particular, but the city has a lot of different meetings Mondays, and then I think Tuesdays are bad. John, you said Wednesday didn't work?
Wednesdays are not great for me.
Yeah.
I mean, they're workable, it's just I have a lot of other competing board meetings on Wednesday evenings, but they're usually like the same. I mean, if we had to do it, like first Wednesday or something, I could probably do it, but.
Thursday. We just, this is, Thursday's good.
Thursday's good?
Yeah.
Okay. And I know we don't have everyone here, but I can reach out to them and
You
just
rule.
ask. But let's
Here you rule.
let's stick Thursday on to Thursday, but then let's decide like which week, first, second, third, last.
Anything but like the last Thursday is good for
Okay.
me.
Anyone else?
Same.
Okay.
First
Joe, is that helpful for you?
Yeah, it is, yep, so I can send out a calendar, and then we'll get it set up on the website.
Okay.
5:30 to 6:30.
Yep.
Yeah, the time works for everyone, 5:30, 6:30 in person. Okay. Yeah, we're trying to have a more, I guess, consistent lineup of meetings, and it's just easier if we have recurring meetings. So thank you guys for sharing your open dates.
And I believe the ordinance does say we have to meet at least 4 times a year, so.
Yeah, we made that last year.
Yep, yeah, we
Just barely.
Okay, all right, well, if there's no further discussion on that, no one has any other input, I'll reach out to the other commissioners to get their input, but we're just gonna stick with that, I think. Okay, well, that is the last piece, so can I get a motion to adjourn?
Second? Oh,
You
All
got
right,
it.
all in favor?
Okay.
Aye.
All not in favor? All right.
Nice to see you all.
yeah.
Before we leave, I want to say happy birthday to John. I heard from a little birdie that it's his birthday this week, so.
Saturday.
Happy birthday.
41st.